Hello students, hope you all are doing well and safe at home. Today is the continuation of BC, WBC and platelets. Now the question is, how do we separate blood from its cellular part or from its liquid part? In a laboratory, one method is done, that is centrifuge method. A centrifuge apparatus is there. Centrifuge means rotation. When you will centrifuge blood in a tube, then what happen? Plasma deposits on upper sides, upper layer. It looks like pale yellow colored, pale yellow, and the lower part is, it is a mass of RBC, WBC and platelets. Okay, in this way you can separate blood from plasma or from its cellular part. Okay, so this is how blood you can separate features of plasma. Okay, what are the characteristic features of plasma? Okay. Features of plasma. The first feature is, plasma, it is pale yellow in color. Okay, in color. Second is, it contains inorganic salts. Inorganic salts are dissolved in plasma. Okay, and the third is, it also contains clotting factors, which are also very important for clotting. Fibrinogen, clotting factor, the one clotting factor is fibrinogen. Okay, I have already made the video on the cascades of coagulation. It is actually little bit higher level for your graduation level, but you can through those videos, so that it will be easier for you to understand your coagulation. Okay, for your class 10th. So this is the features of plasma. The first is pale yellow in color. Why plasma looks like pale yellow in color? Because these inorganic salts like sodium chloride, etc., they are dissolved in plasma, and because of this inorganic salt, plasma looks like pale yellow in color. And also it contains clotting factor, which is very important for coagulation. That is why plasma is a very important part of blood. Okay, now one more thing, there is a difference between plasma and serum. Okay, serum is also, serum, it is a liquid part of blood and it contains inorganic salts, but it does not contain clotting factor. That is why it is different from plasma. It does not contains clotting factor. Okay, this is why serum is different from plasma. So this is about plasma. Now we'll be discussing about the cellular part. The first cellular part is RBC. Okay, in this video we'll be discussing about RBC only. Okay, students, you noted down from here, so it will be easier for you to make your notes on circulation. One by one you can make notes from here, because I am teaching you circulation serial wise, as per in your book, as per it is given in your book. Okay, serial wise I am teaching you circulation. In previous video we have done function of blood. You can make note related to function of blood. Now you can make notes from here related to RBC. This is whole about RBC. I will be discussing today whole important point of RBC. Okay, now RBC, or you can say red blood cells, okay, or corpuscles. Okay, it is also called erythrocyte. Okay, erythro means blood, it is also called erythrocytes. Sorry, erythro means blood and cytes means cell. Okay, so RBC is also called erythrocyte, and nowadays your question are always in your question RBC is named as erythrocyte only. So what are the general features of RBC erythrocytes? Erythrocytes are biconcave in shape. Okay, RBCs are they are biconcave in shape. There is a reason behind its shape. Okay, biconcave, that is thinner in middle and thicker at the corner. This is biconcave shape. Why RBC is biconcave in shape? This is very important question. It is 1 marker or 2 marker question, which is always comes which always comes in your exam. Then that is why RBC is biconcave in shape, because RBC is biconcave in shape so that it can carry, or it to transport maximum oxygen. Okay, it is biconcave in shape to transport maximum amount of oxygen, because RBC carries oxygen. So for carrying more amount of oxygen, its shape is biconcave. Okay, biconcave shape. Now the next question, which is also very important, why RBC do not have nucleus and mitochondria. Okay, when RBCs are formed, they have nucleus and they have mitochondria, but as they start maturing, they loses its mitochondria and they loses its nucleus. Why they loses they lost their nucleus? We know that nucleus is present at the center of the cell, but as mitochondria, sorry, as RBC matures, it lost its nucleus to increase the surface area. Okay, to increase surface area. Okay, so that it can transport maximum amount of oxygen. And the second is why it loses its mitochondria. We all know that mitochondria needs oxygen for respiration, and when if RBC contains mitochondria, then what happens? It will use oxygen for its respiration. Okay, then it cannot be able to supply more oxygen to all throughout our body. That is why it loses mitochondria, to avoid use of oxygen. Okay, use of oxygen. Okay, so this is about the why mitochondria do not have nucleus, why they do not have why RBC do not have nucleus, why RBC do not have mitochondria. Mitochondria uses oxygen, so for avoiding the use of oxygen through RBC, that RBC loses its loses its mitochondria. Okay, now this is about shape. Now the second is RBC transports oxygen. Okay, we know that oxygen is transported by RBC. How we have already discussed, because RBC contains a special type of pigment, that is hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is composed of hemin and globin, and because of hemin, blood looks red in color. Hemin is iron actually, and globin is protein. Now when oxygen combines with hemoglobin, it forms oxyhemoglobin. Okay, it forms oxyhemoglobin. Okay, so this is the next function. It transport oxygen. Next, it transport carbon dioxide. When it combines with carbon dioxide, hemoglobin combines with the carbon dioxide, it forms carb amino hemoglobin. It is already we have discussed in our previous video. Next is that is again a very important topic that you should know, that a condition you must have heard or you must have seen in your book, that carbon monoxide poisoning. What is carbon monoxide poisoning? Okay, now from this combination of hemoglobin with oxygen and carbon dioxide, we got to know that hemoglobin has an affinity to combine with oxygen as well as carbon dioxide. Now you should know one thing, that suppose you are in a room where oxygen and carbon dioxide, both gases are present. In this condition, what happens? Your hemoglobin will combine with oxygen first, then carbon dioxide. Okay, because hemoglobin has an affinity to combine with oxygen more than carbon dioxide. Okay, this is clear. Now suppose you are in a room where quantity of carbon monoxide, you all know carbon monoxide is a poisonous gas. Okay, carbon monoxide, it is denoted as, symbolized as CO. Okay, now if suppose you are in a room where quantity of carbon monoxide is more than oxygen and carbon dioxide, in this condition what happen? Your hemoglobin will combines with carbon monoxide first, because hemoglobin has an affinity to combine with carbon monoxide more than oxygen. Okay, hemoglobin combines more than oxygen with carbon monoxide. Okay, so in that condition what happen? When you are in a air, you are in a surrounding where carbon monoxide is more, then in this condition your hemoglobin will combines with carbon monoxide, and it combines with carbon monoxide. In this case what happen? In your body, number of or quantity of carbon monoxide increases, and in this condition what happen? A person can die also, because carbon monoxide causing poison inside your body. Okay, so this condition is called carbon monoxide poisoning. Okay, this is called carbon monoxide poisoning. And with carbon monoxide, hemoglobin combines to form carboxyhemoglobin. Okay, I hope you understand. I am erasing this. Okay, you can write from here, hemoglobin plus oxygen, it forms oxyhemoglobin. Hemoglobin plus carbon dioxide, it forms carb amino hemoglobin, and hemoglobin with carbon monoxide, it forms carboxy hemoglobin. Understand? Okay, So this is the condition. And what is carbon monoxide poisoning, it is also cleared. Okay, so hemoglobin's affinity to combine with carbon monoxide more than oxygen and then carbon dioxide. First it will combine with carbon monoxide, then it will combine with oxygen, and last it will combine with rest of the hemoglobin will combine with carbon dioxide. Now where RBCs are formed, okay, what is the birth place of RBC? Okay, RBCs are formed in bone marrow. In adults, RBCs are formed in bone marrow, and in embryo, RBCs are formed in liver and spleen. Okay, so this is also one marker question, where RBCs are formed in adult, where RBCs are formed in embryonic condition. So in embryo it is formed in liver and spleen, and in adult it is formed in bone marrow. Okay, now lifespan 120 days. After 120 days RBC degenerates. Okay, and where it degenerates in spleen. Okay, it destroys in spleen. That is why spleen is also called graveyard of RBC. Okay, this is also one marker question. Where is graveyard of RBC? That is spleen. Okay, I hope you understand, student. Okay, now two condition. The first, abnormal increase in RBC. Okay, abnormal increase of RBC inside our body. This is called increase in RBC. This condition is called polycythemia. Okay, and when abnormal decrease in RBC, then this condition is called erythropenia. This is also one marker question. What is polycythemia? What do you mean by polycythemia? And what do you mean by erythropenia? When there is an increased amount of abnormal increase in RBC inside our body, then this is polycythemia. And when abnormal decrease in RBC inside our body, then this condition is called erythropenia. So this is whole about RBC, which is present in your class, which is included in your class 10th syllabus. So in this video we have discussed about the composition of blood. We have discussed about the characteristic feature of plasma as well as RBC. This is all important point related to RBC. Okay, students, you note it down in your copy and make notes of circulation from here. I hope you like this video. Now at the end of the video I will ask you some question that what is carbaminohemoglobin? Okay, what is carboxyhemoglobin? Okay, now why RBC is biconcave in shape? Okay, the next question is why RBC does not contain nucleus and mitochondria? Okay, these are some important question. Why they looks red in color? Okay, and also what is the condition called polycythemia and erythropenia. I hope I'll be getting your answer in my comment box. Please keep liking, keep sharing, and keep subscribing my video. And if you have any query, please ask your question in my comment box, and please give your valuable feedback in my comment box also. Thank you so much.